Hey, it's your boy Molten Sears here again. Welcome back to our channel, Sears World TV. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel if this is your first time. Today, as part of our continued series of honoring the teachers at the North Union Secondary School, I have with me today Mrs. Carmen Caine.
Thank you.
I'd like you to take us back to where the idea began when you decided to become an educator.
Now, in those days, in the primary school, you get to class 6. Those who did not do the common entrance, if will do a school leaving exam, and you are successful, you automatically become a supernumerary or grade 1 teacher. And there is where I began.
Were you the only one in your family as an educator, or did you have other siblings who preceded you?
No, I am the only one.
Okay, you're an only child. I'm just
No, I have 3 siblings alive and 2 deceased.
Okay, my condolences to you on that. So, Mrs. Caine, when, you said for the school even, because I understand that in those days you were first going as a probatory teacher. It meant that you had to teach for a while and then you get to become a full-time teacher.
I became a grade 1 teacher after passing school leaving, but I was not paid until I got to grade 2, did the second exam.
Wow. So you were more like you were training for free.
Some people were lucky enough to be paid, but then there were not vacancies for others. So many of us just walk along without pay until such time.
Okay, so what school did you start your career?
At the Bible Methodist School.
And what was it like when you entered it? Did you feel like it was something you wanted to do, or was it you had to do it because it was probably the only source of employment at that time?
There wasn't anything else. And because of poverty, I was glad to get a little job.
Right. And I think most of your colleagues that I spoke with, they all started out it being something that they had to do, and they grew into it as something that they love and stuff like that. If we can move forward a little bit, because our main thing here is we're interested to hear your about your time at the North Union Secondary School. At what year did you enter the North Union Secondary School?
I started at North Union, I think, 1981. About 1981.
Right. So that would have been under the leadership of Mr. Alban Henry.
That's right. That's right.
And I was told that when Mr. Henry started North Union, he actually went and handpicked the people who he wanted on his team, as in the teachers around him. How did that come about that you ended up at North Union, though?
I was not picked. How it happened? There was a switch. I think they wanted a Spanish teacher at Adelphi. So Dennis was Jones. One Mrs. Jones was switched to Adelphi, and I went to North Union. She went to Adelphi to do the Spanish. I think something like that. I was handpicked by Mr. Henry.
You reached North Union, and as we know, North Union was also a school where the intention wasn't for it to be a secondary school, but It was called a junior secondary school, which
Right,
was
that's right.
full of trades and stuff like that.
That's right.
But you, as a prominent teacher at North Union, as in terms of longevity.
Yes.
Tell us what it was like when you entered the school. What was the condition of the school?
Oh boy, I don't really remember. You mean the teachers were very warm and cooperative. The children, I enjoyed teaching them because I taught the law forms 1 and 2. And I enjoyed teaching Form 1s, those that just came in from the primary school. So I enjoyed it.
So you pretty much were responsible, along with God bless her soul, the late Judith Bala.
Right.
You guys are pretty much responsible for molding, I should say, us or the new students.
They don't have the mature teachers in the law form. Remember, in schools now, mostly some young people. Right. So you really need the more matured people in those law forms.
I experienced that during my visit at the school during the week of activities there. That is not the same kind of teachers that you guys were to us, because if I can recall, you yourself you were like a mother figure to myself and Clayton and to many others, but I can testify for myself that you were really like a mother figure to us.
Voice.
Yeah, and I always like to say thank you and thank you for that. I we didn't get to really have this conversation that we were supposed to have. So yeah, so you were responsible for Form 1.
Yes.
And like you just said, what I saw the other day at the school is that the easiest way for the solution was them to like throw the student out of the class, because I met a class where the easiest solution for the teacher was to just exit them from the class and stuff like that. In your days, I mean, you guys didn't have to be I don't know if we were the good student or you were the good teachers. Obviously you were the good teachers.
You have to remember the students these days, they're different to you all.
Yes.
You all were angels in comparison to these.
That's the third person to say that to me. You guys thought we were bad, but we were angels compared to these. Yeah, because you didn't have to exercise some kind of harsh punishment to gain that respect. It's like the minute you say something, you gain that respect from us.
Right.
And that
you all were manageable. You all were manageable. We were able to manage you all quite well.
And when you talk, we pretty much listen. So we had to listen to you.
Right.
Yeah. So and I know you were one who used to always encourage me to go and study your book. Go and study your book. So I guess we were really blessed to have met you guys, at that time. In the 1980s, right, North Union became like the school, I think, reached the peak, or let me say, the plateau of what you would call excellence. As the school motto says, excellence through unity. Walk us through those memorable moments that you had there, because you would have seen when the school has been growing from a junior secondary school, and it goes up to the peak where we won. We were winning sports and public speaking, and GCs and CXCs were at a higher level than it ever was before. Walk us through like what the feeling was like and the effort that you guys would have put into it.
I'm wondering if my memory is that good. I remember, I am aging. There were good days. especially when we have public speaking, when you would have heard North Union is first, especially with their impromptu speech. Then in sports, you would have the girls winning netball. External exams, you would hear them doing so well. They were good times. They were good times. And I was happy to be a teacher at North Union at that time. Although I was only dealing with the law forms, I think I had a hand in it because I laid the foundation.
Of course.
The foundation had to be laid down there, so that the other teachers can build on higher up. So there were times when I had some good moments.
Right, and I'm pretty sure you would have been sharing information, for amongst yourself as a staff, and I'm pretty sure higher form teachers would have asked you, well, what kind of student was this
such
student
and such, this person, right?
Right.
I can remember there was a student from Georgetown, Samantha, I can't remember the surname. And I remember in the staff meeting, that child was not to do English because she was doing poorly. And I begged for Samantha. And when the results came back, Samantha passed her English. And that was the time I was overjoyed because she was not supposed to do it because of, but in the end, she was allowed to do it. And that was a happy moment for me.
It brings me back to something, right? I remember one time you told the class that myself and Clayton, you told them that these boys are not dunce, If you're a teacher and you don't know what you're doing, they can actually trick you. So I'll just say that as to say, like, as the teachers at the entry level class, for the entry level class, you pretty much know the students, as soon as you get in contact with them.
Yes.
The staff, I was told that like one of the best staff you can have was the North Union secondary school staff through the 80s. Like everybody was so much together.
Like a family. You were just like a family.
Yes.
We were a family. Yeah. We worked together. We supported each other.
What would be the moment that you really will always remember? Not necessarily with the student, but within the staff. And I know you've had a lot.
What was it? I can't remember if it was cricket. There was an event, and the bell rang, and all the teachers, we were there babbling, everybody talking about, I can't remember what it was. The bell rang, and I took my books, and I headed for my classroom. And I understand that Mr. Henry came around. My, Mrs. Caine is the only teacher, because I left them there with what it was, and I went over to my class. So when I came back, I got the joke that I was the only teacher.
That shows the seriousness in you that you're
commitment, man. Yeah, commitment. Yes.
And if I'm right, your persona was always like that. You
were
always serious and committed to teaching, and I think there were the moments too where we talked in generally, but you as an educator coming into class, everyone knows when you came into class that it was seriousness.
Business time, business.
Yes.
And I can remember too, I would have said to you all, I am your mother from 8 o'clock to 3 o'clock. When you're here, from 8 to 3, I am responsible for you. Okay? So then I am going to deal with you as a parent and a teacher.
And I wish that would be more of the attitude for more of the educators now, that they would look out for the students as though it's their own. Like you mentioned, like you came in and then you came up to the North Union Secondary School. So at what point though did you feel like you were settled into the school? Like you felt this is it here and I'm there, or this is the job that I want to settle into?
From the time I got to North Union, I settled because there were people whom I have known before, Mrs. Bala and others. And then I enjoyed teaching. So then I was looking elsewhere. That's it.
Yeah, and like I said, speaking of Miss Bala, right? And I know you guys were really,
Close.
really, really good friends.
Close.
Right? Yeah, and with the form one, and unfortunately we cannot even get her story, right? I just wanted to stress a little bit of what it was like being friends with her as an educator, and what was the relationship was like, and what was Miss Bala really like, because we all, like, she's really loved, amongst everybody. Yeah, I think pretty much.
She was a caring person, someone you can go to with any, situation. And I think because of her experience in other schools abroad, I got some help from her, especially in dealing with the family life education. She was a help to me. She was trustworthy. I don't like to talk about it.
That's okay. Like I said, may her soul rest in peace.
Yeah.
What would you say was your favorite subject to teach?
Family life education. because there were some little girls who would say to me the things that they want to find out about their bodies, about themselves, about life. They could not have asked their parents. The parents would say they're too big woman, and they were free to come to me to ask for help. And I was so glad that I could have helped. I've met so many times.
And with the form of internet now, how do you think that would have fared? Do you think they would have still needed your help, or how do you think you would have been contributing to that, knowing that they can also access this information by internet now?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's better for them, for those who would have had the device to check on that. But I'm saying the parents should be the one to speak to their girls, not a stranger, not the internet. The parents should be the ones.
Right.
But then, if they don't do it, somebody else would have to.
As you know, we just had our reunion, our first reunion gala, and you were one of the honorary at the gala, and of course, it was a decision that was voted on. So, you were, of course, the people's choice. What was that feeling like? First of all, to be there and knowing that you were being honored by the alumni.
First, when Ina called me and told me that I am one, I said, me? Because I was surprised. I did not know I had so much impression on students. So I was surprised. And I'm not a night person, and I keep fussing. But my daughter told me, get out the house and go. I came and I enjoyed it.
If I have to stress that a lot of you, the teachers were, surprised that your name would come up, but really it's more than that, amongst the alumni. Like people like I not only there's a few teachers that their name came up, and I was surprised myself that you would hear stories that the impact that you guys brought onto other people's lives. So I know you guys did things subconsciously. It's an effect, but looking back, years later, these are things that we brought with us as memories that you guys have contributed. So I cannot even stress to say again, thank you for everything that you've done, because when you compare the educators now, and I'm not just saying that they're not good ones now, to what you guys were really taking care of us, not only from an academical level, but also from a social perspective, where you made sure that we were well kept.
Let me just tell you for an instance, there was a certain young lady in Form 2, and then I missed her. She wasn't coming regularly when she came, and she brought her situation, her problem to me. I got her to come to school. I would not tell you what I have done, but I helped her, and I got her to come to school. Unfortunately, when she got to Form 3, because of needs, she dropped out.
Oh.
But a few years later, I went to Bible school and I met that young lady in college uniform. And that was the best day in my life. I felt so good because she made a mistake, she went out, but she continued with her education.
Oh. These are success stories we want to hear, Rich.
Yeah. I hugged that young lady when I met her. I hugged and I cried because as a child I had loved, but I know she was needy. I was helping her the way I could, but then that wasn't enough. But she did not give up. Thank God.
Yes, and there are so many in those positions, similar positions. So, which brings me to my next question, or my follow-up question is, how do you feel when you see, or when you meet someone on the street who you've taught, and what's the reaction when you see like they're able, like you go up to, let's say, for example, the bank or somewhere, and there is Moulton that I taught, or how do you feel when you see those accomplishments?
I can't even tell you how I usually feel. Like I went into Republic one day, and I went to the cashier. I didn't recognize the young man. He said, "Mrs. Caine?" I said, "Hello, how are you?" He said, "You don't remember me?" Kiki John. I said, "Wow!" I suppose you heard me in Canada. I was so surprised. I would meet them in several these places in town, and they are so warm. They greet me so warm, and they make me feel so loved. And then I reflect that what I have done, it wasn't in vain.
True. Because if we have to really break it down, right? Educators are not being paid enough for what they're doing. So the extra accomplishment that you see on the side, it must makes you feel like
great.
content inside. The money, even I mean, the money you were getting, fortunately enough, the money it's a little bit better now, but it's still not enough. So just imagine what you were getting back in the day. It had to be for the love of it to really show that passion still with the money.
The warm greeting and the warm hug you would get from, you feel so good. Yeah.
Yeah, and I myself, when I meet a fellow alumni and I my fellow alumni and I see them in different positions, I feel
Yeah,
so happy. Like, you know, sometimes I
right,
look on the internet and I see certain things, and I tell my coworkers here, hey, you know, this person and me, we went to school, and look, you know,
right.
look what he or she has accomplished.
Accomplished, right.
Yeah. So it was a sight to behold. So North Union Secondary School, when you started, obviously, and then, like I said, it reached the plateau in around the 80s, early 90s, I would think. Did you end your career at the North Union Secondary School?
Yes, I did.
Mhm.
I retired um, uh, on, I think it's 1999. I retired between 1999 and 2000. But then I went to intermediate high school after and stayed there for 10 years.
Okay. What do you miss most about being an educator?
Helping the children.
Mhm.
Because when I went to intermediate, boy, there were some students there. They really needed help. So we dismissed at 1:30, I think, 1 or 1:30. So then after that time, I would stay back with some children to help, you know. So I love children and I love to see children progress. So that was my thing.
Any regrets or something that you think you should have or could have done differently in your teaching career?
Not really. Not really. At intermediate, there was a sad situation where after the break, um, a male and a female came out of the toilet. What I should have done, I should have taken them and, spoken to them instead of reporting them to the principal, because that was the end of their school career. I regretted that I did not, handle the situation.
And I think, like, most of the time we don't expect the outcome that is handed
Right,
down.
right,
You know,
right.
you expected, I guess, your principal to give a second chance, or
Right.
stuff like that. Um, I know you've worked with many, fantastic people, and I don't even want to put you. I know I'm not gonna. I don't think I'm gonna ask you that. Which is the best principal you've ever worked under? But I know it would probably be it. So I would put you under that.
No, no, no. They were all good. They were all good principals.
Everybody was a good
Everybody was good. They were all good principals.
principal.
Mr. Williams, Mr. Henry, yeah, all good principals.
Was there any desire at any time to want for you to want to be a principal?
No, I was looking at my qualification. I only had the college education. So I was seeing people above me with degrees that I didn't have. So I wasn't looking there. But I ended my teaching career as deputy principal at intermediate.
And you know, yeah, so for subjects though, as in the for teaching, I remember you as being my form teacher in Form 1A, and I also remember you being my history teacher. Was that something that was thrown onto you as a history teacher, or you were the one who grabbed that section? How did it work for you to end up as a history teacher?
When I got there, I was given a timetable. And so I did English A and B, history sometime, and then later family life was added. I enjoy doing them.
So where is Mrs. Caine currently now, as in terms of I know you're retired and I know you're at home. Do you still give, let's say, private lessons, or you done with that? Or do people still come up to you for academical advice?
I wish I could have helped some students, but my vision is deteriorating. I have challenges, so I can only assist, like giving books and so on, advice, because I have challenges.
Okay, and is there anything else you would like to add that I haven't asked you, or that you would like to say, advice, even to the alumni, for any encouragement or whatever?
I just want to thank you all very much for recognizing me. I did not know what I was doing had so much impact on you all. And you all were a very, very, very good bunch. And I hope that you all continue in this vein. Be good citizens and good examples for your children.
Okay. Oh, it's been, Mrs. Caine, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. I feel very content to know that I can say thank you to my teachers, whether it's virtual or in person. You know, I'm thankful that you're alive to have been able to receive our recognition.
Thank you.
We wish that, you know, the others, like for example, Mr. Daniel was on the list as well, and
you know,
a few months short of receiving it, but I'm hoping that we can do something to the ones who have passed on, so that at least their memory would live on, you know, whether it's in the school or, you know, through their families.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's been an absolute pleasure really talking to you. You can find this as also part of your encouragement with me talking to you now. My really important years were formed at the North Union Secondary School, and it's with me entering into Form 1, meeting people like you and Ms. Bala and, you know, all the others, all the teachers there, you know, were great. Some of them, you know, like we thought some of you guys give us a hard time, but it was for the betterment of our lives, you know, like, you know, we can look back at Mr. Westwick Williams and say he was a tough principal to the students, but every single one of us, everyone from the alumni, they have nothing but praise for Mr. Williams, because when you look at the situation now and then, you say, well, wow, look how we have turned out, you know?
Right.
Yeah. You know, I just want to thank you for the time and the opportunity. I know you're not well, you know, 100%, but you still have the time. You give us the time. You came out, you know, to the gala. And now here you are again sharing, you know, part of your life with us, you know. So thank you again from the bottom of my heart, from the alumni, from every one of us.
And thank you too. Thank you.